At 12 News at 5, I'm Rachel Hackbarth. Today, the Wichita Fire Department is remembering former Battalion Chief Bob Thompson, who died Sunday at 76 years old. Brock Wilson visited Wichita's Fire Station 1 to learn about the legacy Thompson leaves behind after more than 30 years with the department.
It's been over a decade since former Fire Battalion Chief Bob Thompson worked at a Wichita fire station, but his presence is still being felt to this day.
Hearing the news of retired Battalion Chief Bob Thompson passing away was a shock.
Current Wichita Fire Battalion Chief Jose O'Cady says he just communicated with Bob Thompson less than a month ago.
Just earlier in the month of December, I received an email directly from him, and we were communicating via email about something in the city.
Thompson began his career with the Wichita Fire Department in 1981. He became a battalion chief in 1994, a role he served in until his retirement in 2014. Battalion Chief O'Cady's worked with Thompson for about 4 years before his retirement.
He was always calm, didn't get excited, didn't get worked up about anything. Always dealt with everything as calm as he can be.
Thompson's primary role as battalion chief was overseeing the fire prevention division, something O'Cady says he excelled at.
Memorize the fire code, memorize regulations on what's required, and always gave us information to learn from that standpoint, to go research it ourselves, give us some ideas on where to begin at and be able to go in depth on the fire code.
O'Cady's also says he truly helped the fire department grow.
He did lead the division at that time on different types of programs for safety of the community from all ages, but also from the development of the city and the growth of the city itself, that he was part of those processes of growing.
And O'Cady's with a parting message for Thompson and his family.
You will always be remembered. You did leave a mark on the fire department itself, and just rest in peace and condolences to the family.
In Wichita, Brock Wilson, 12 News.
Thompson will have a visitation from 3 to 5 p.m. this Sunday at Downing and Leahy East Mortuary. His funeral is next Monday morning at First Evangelical Free Church on North Woodlawn.